Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode of Softline. I'm Nancy Banigo, and with me today I have the funkiest grandma. Hi, funky grandma.
I'm great. Feels so good.
Yeah.
Hello, viewers. I'm here with you today. Hope you're going to have fun.
Yeah,
Nancy.
we always have fun.
Nancy. Pretty Nancy, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Funky grandma with a drama.
Hi.
Funky grandma came in looking so moody this afternoon. She had an episode in school or with one of her students. Would you like to share the story?
You know, I left my office and went to another office, to the next office. And just saw some students trying to make a girl lie down on the mattress. What happened? What happened? It's only girls that fall sick in this school. I've never seen a boy. I've never seen a boy brought here to come and lie down. And I saw the girl just lie still. I said, what happened? Maybe some of the students were crying. And I saw they were trying to bring her back, like...
She was unconscious.
Yes, she was unconscious, trying to...
She slumped in school.
Yeah, they said she slumped in class while taking exams. She's an SS3 student.
Oh, goodness.
So... she just couldn't do anything, so they were trying to bring her back, resuscitate her. One of the teachers was there trying to hit her hard. No sign of coming back. They tried and tried, she did not come back. I said, you girls by her legs, begin to massage her legs to bring it. So they tried, we stood there for about 10 minutes, they tried. I said, God, I saw a person there, I don't forbid, this small girl. So I left, went to another office, I came back, they were still, and then I saw that they have raised her up a bit. And she was like, I said, God, I beg, let her come back. So it was very horrible, I felt somehow all over. I said,
but I don't know, this is quite a disturbing story you're telling us here. In a school, was there no sick bay, no nurse, no emergency unit?
Actually, we don't have a sick bay. Please, I don't want to mention the name of my school. What kind of word puts inside my mouth, Nancy? No, but there are a lot of schools, state schools that do not. Not that it's not possible, but I think because the administration of the school do not think about it.
Or do not deem it necessary to have a sick bay or a fully equipped.
Don't even say fully equipped. Now it's government school. Just have this
and a professional around.
Yes, and tiny little thing for first aid, for fever, for all of that in case or whatever. Because after all, we have been asked not to give any child any medication.
Medication, okay.
So you understand. So that is one problem, anyways. No sick bay in most schools, especially day schools. Especially
day schools.
Yeah.
Government day schools in the States.
Especially government day schools. And at least like the government to think about that. Because especially where I am, there's no day a child does not fall sick. No day. And there's one of the teachers that has passion. I don't know, she's not a nurse. She's not even taking any science oriented subject. But she's always the one that they run to every time they run to her office. So she kept a mattress by the side.
And so when they come in like that, she keeps them there.
She keeps them there. What is it? Asthma. She didn't bring her inhaler or run, get onions, you know, something like that. But today's site was.
It's sad. It's so sad.
So
that
they had to tell the brother. Thank God she had a brother. The brother had to. The teachers then gathered, gave some money. She took a keke. Went home, brought the
brother had to go home
to bring the
mother before they could.
Because they go.
Oh goodness, man, this is sad. This is sad because the thin line between life and death sometimes could be very thin.
Yeah,
so supposing this child died in that place.
How are we even sure? She has been.
This is not good.
For over 20 minutes.
This is not good. And nobody deemed it fit there to even put her in a car and take her to the hospital, even if you don't
Unfortunately, the principal was not around, that's why.
Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all.
The principal was not around. I went on an official detail.
This is not good. Wow, this is sad.
They brought the bomb and the mom came and
took her away.
So why is she going to do with the exams? I said, don't think about the exams. Let her just come back tomorrow.
Wow. Probably she didn't eat before coming to school.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Because sometimes,
because
you know, exam fever coupled with hunger could be, you know, could be so traumatizing, if I will say.
Yeah.
Wow. But seriously speaking, it's something the government need to look into. I mean, having a sick bay in all the government schools is very imperative.
Just a little room.
Yeah.
And a nurse.
For emergencies like this. Supposing you guys lose this child now.
We are praying. We are praying.
No. This is not good at all.
So that was what really made me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Even me, I'm not happy about it. It's a sad situation. We shouldn't be hearing this kind of a thing in 2025. Every school should have a sick bay. And a professional should be around for cases like this. At least for first aid before the person is being transferred to the hospital. Now imagine a generation of children whose potential is being undermined by a health crisis that is both preventable and treatable. Childhood obesity is a ticking time bomb threatening the future of our children and the prosperity of our nation. As we gather today, let's confront the uncomfortable truth. What role do our culture, attitude, societal norms, and parental practice play in shaping the health outcomes of our children? Can we afford to wait and see? Or is it time for a collective action? So joining us today to share light on this critical issue is Dr. Ifunanya Ebiekpi. She's a pediatrician at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital. Dr. Ifunanya, you're welcome to the show.
Welcome, doctor.
Thank you.
Happy to have you again.
I'm happy to be here.
Whenever we discuss children, she's always happy to be around.
My consistency.
Yeah, I know. So, talking about obesity, I know you've seen the impacts of obesity on, you know, children firsthand because you deal with such cases, I know, regularly. Let's start with some of the misconceptions people have about obesity. Are there some of them you would like to debunk today?
Okay, obesity is a problem with every part of, it's not restricted to children, it's not restricted to adults. Okay. So one of the misconceptions people have is that obesity is a problem of the adults. That in the grown-ups, it's in the grown-ups it's an issue and it's not an issue in the children. So
yeah, they will outgrow it, right?
That's a common misconception, but obesity has effects on everybody. Another common misconception about obesity is the issue of people desiring it, thinking it's a sign of good life. So some people intentionally make their children obese in a bid to show that things are good with them and
can afford everything.
They can afford everything. So a chubby baby means I'm doing well. So you see people doing anything possible to have a chubby baby. So that's also a misconception. Okay. Then I think another misconception people have about obesity is that, okay, it's not a problem here yet. So many times health institutions, policies are not really being geared towards obesity because we have a lot of undernutrition problems in Nigeria too. So when you're talking about obesity, people are like, how many people are obese? But it's there. So that's another misconception we may have.
Okay, so now let's go to, forgive me before you come in.
No, it's okay.
Let's go to some of the factors that are contributing to this obesity in our society. I mean, I read somewhere that it's quite increasing the number of children
of course,
with...
Every survey that is done gives you a value higher than the last.
Wow.
So some of the statistics, even in Akwa Ibom State, we're placing it at 11% as of 2021. And I'm sure if you repeat it now, it's going to be higher. And it's not rocket science. The life we're living now is definitely not the life that was lived 20 years ago. So now it's harder not to be obese than it was 20 years ago. For example, I'm sure as a child, there's a high chance that you trek to school and you trek home from school. So your parents don't have to intentionally work in exercise into your daily routine. But now I have children that I know that they are overweight, and I am working on solving that problem. And to do that, I have to intentionally work in exercise because I can't just have the luxury of telling them walk back to school and walk to school. Schools don't close by 1 anymore. Schools don't have break time. Now, time school had break time.
Yeah, and not just break time. At least 15 minutes.
Break time.
Yeah,
break
you
time
take 30 minutes
and quality that you could run,
you
and play. I remember removing grass from the floor and making it into a long skipping rope as a child. And so you don't have those.
You have the short
now.
break, you have the long break.
Short break and long break. Schools don't have time for that anymore, and schools don't have space for that.
Absolutely.
Anymore. Only the government schools
yes, that's why I'm surprised to hear that.
Don't have access to that much space. So you just have this small playground where 100 children are supposed to play. So maybe they bring them out 20 at a time, 10 minutes. And so it's of course, that's another factor. So because the thing about obesity and weight generally is input output. Okay. So once input is more than the output, then you're going to have an excess which will show up as fat. So we're having an issue with lack of exercise. We're having the access to television that was not there, and television is watched sedentary. And mainly parents, the TV is our nanny.
I tell you.
So you just put the TV, then you put the child, and you move. You move. You know that the child is safe. We strap them in the car, in the seats, we strap them into the high chair, and we know that they are there. But that reduces the movement, which helps to make the child active. At least those days, TV used to start by 4 and end by 6. So after they are playing before, you are playing after. But it's not like that anymore. So the sedentary lifestyle.
I kind of miss those days, you know.
Before you now go into the elephant in the room, which is food. Because it's really a function of what we eat. And the way children are being fed these days is very different. There's a lot of convenient food, instant food. There's a lot of just make it quickly. So we're eating bread in the morning. We're putting cereal for the baby in the bag to eat
take to
school, and they're coming back to eat noodles.
Oh goodness!
And maybe another cereal in the night.
Oh goodness!
And I think it started with this misconception that children should eat distinctively different from adults. I found that as one of the issues. We advocate exclusive breastfeeding, and exclusive breastfeeding actually protects against obesity. Oh. Yes, exclusive breastfeeding protects against obesity. Then at 6 months after exclusive breastfeeding...
Wait. Okay. Let's get that clear. Exclusive breast, because I know I did exclusive, and you need to see my babies. Before the age of 8 months, nobody could carry them.
But are they still like that now?
They're still like that too. But we're saying when they go to primary school, they will share weight for where they finish primary school. One is in secondary school now. He's still the way he is.
Exclusive breastfeeding protects against obesity. That's a proven fact.
But how? Tell me now. I need to know.
That this formula feeding and all of that, they make the skin, the child to develop fat cells earlier in life than exclusive breastfeeding.
Okay, earlier.
Yes. So exclusive breastfeeding is protective. Okay. However, transitional feeding is when most parents get it wrong.
Okay.
Because there's this conception that children should take cereals till 1 year of age. So we are starting PAP, we're starting Cerelac, Nutribom, this and this and this and this and this. We're starting so many processed packed cereals. And we're putting that child on that till 1. And then they say when you take away the breast milk, you should replace it with what? Tea. So you give the child Milo and milk in the night. So when you're pointing one finger at exclusive breastfeeding, very possible that 4.
Who's bringing all this? Who's bringing all this?
It's just culture.
Is it not? Okay, but sometimes it's even from the hospitals.
It's not really
the
from
nurses.
the hospital. The nurses will not tell you to give your child milk.
It's adverts. A lot of adverts.
It's adverts. They're advertising. They're saying healthy children, and you think, oh, Milo is healthy, and of course, all these chocolate drinks, while they have health benefits, they have a large amount of sugar in them, and you're giving it to the child. And so we have this unwritten rule that a child should drink tea every day. Who said so? Who said so? Nobody said so. There's no way that I say that a child must take biscuit and juice. Where is the rule that you must take biscuit and juice every day? Many Nigerian children cannot stay 24 hours
without biscuit and juice.
High calorie, high sugar. And they do that sometimes twice a day. Some children even know where the thing is. They'll go and collect it, carry the straw and open it and drink. Then before we go to the issue of soda, which some children take soda to school daily.
Okay.
So all these are the place. Then let's not talk about noodles. So you see parents saying he only likes noodles, spaghetti, and rice. And but we forget that when they were babies, we excluded them from mashed forms of the family diet, which would have introduced them to variety of tastes and broaden their palates so that they can accept more meals. So you see a mother of a 9-month-old, they're not putting gari in the mouth.
They don't want, they don't like it.
Then you want a 2-year-old child to just automatically start accepting gari.
But I think this thing is a parent being scared. Because you don't know which one you would give and the child will react to it.
The one in the packet, what makes it safer? It's processed. It has preservatives.
Oh my goodness.
It has food coloring. Nothing makes it safer, per se.
You know, I remember one time I saw one video of a woman feeding her, I think the baby was 3 months or 4 months. The baby was quite small. She was feeding the baby with amala. And people came for her in the comment section.
3 months is too young.
I think 3 or 4 months.
3
but
months
the baby was not up to 6 months.
Because the gut cannot tolerate that. That is a health risk. For that, it can even make the child have intussusception. It can cause some surgical problems. So 3 months is too young. But science has checked it and said from 6 months it's safe. The only thing they're afraid of is something like honey, which has some risk factors. So we say wait till 1 year for honey. But we can definitely give her mala and ewedu, or in our own case, fufu and okra soup to a 7-month-old comfortably, and they will accept it. I'm talking this is from my own personal experience because my first child, I had that weaning problem. So I was trying out cereal, she wouldn't take it, and somebody said try swallow, and I realized that we had found a happy place. Until today, all my children, they take swallow, they take potato, they take boiled plantain and beans. So we take cereals out, and then I always like to have pap at home because pap is very nutritious too, and it's homemade. So the way we feed our children, we really need a mental shift in the way we feed our children. Sometimes those processed food is rank for us. Some people will say the formula that they're buying for their child is 20,000. When you bring it out in church, everybody knows that you're spending. What's the point? What's the point? You're setting up your child for problems with obesity in the future. Also is the issue of ease. You know, these things are easy. If you want to make fruits for your child, you have to buy it every day. If there's no light, you can't store it. And you have to cut it, wash it. Or you can just buy a carton of biscuit and a carton of juice and put under the cupboard. And every day everybody gets one.
All right.
Wow.
I'm sure you'll be coming for many mothers today. I'm
guilty. I'm guilty. We just try to do better every day.
In all of this, do we have any hormonal causes?
Of course, we have genetic causes. So some people are predisposed to obesity. And it's not their fault in that aspect, in the sense that they have a gene that makes them more likely to produce fat cells. So such people may need to be more cautious. I know we all have experiences of people that can eat 5 wraps of fufu and they're like this.
Still one,
and then there are people that just eat a little.
Even they say the air self makes them add weight.
I don't know about many families are they may have a familial disposition to obesity. Then there are some sicknesses that obesity is part of it. And then sometimes the obesity may be as a side effect of drugs. Then of course, like Mama talked about, hormonal imbalance and some hormonal shifts in the body can also predispose to obesity. But the important thing is whatever is predisposing to obesity, the principle is the same. Once input is more than output, then you're going to have a balance which will convert to fat cells. So depending on what your problem is, you know how much work you need to put in or put out to balance out. Even if, because you have, like my family, I know that I think we are predisposed to being obese. But however, I have siblings that are not, because they take better care of themselves than I do. And they have been able to combat it and fight it. So you can't say, oh, because my family is obese, I will just stay like that. You will still be
family thing.
You will still be predisposed to the problems. The problems don't want to hear that it's your family thing. you will still be predisposed
You know,
to the
when we
problems.
started this conversation, you mentioned something about culture. People talking society where they look at a big child.
It's a big problem, especially infants. In infants, you see people feeding children unnecessarily. Okay, I'll give you a personal example. There's somebody I know who came and I was feeding a child, and she said that plate is too small for that child. And my baby was about 10 months then. And I said, why do you say so? She says, once her baby passes 3 months, she changes the plate to a bigger plate. I said, why? When the child is not, I feed till I sense that the child is satisfied. Why would I want to say that, you know? And at that point, she didn't have a job. So she said, you know, I'm not employed though. I need to make people understand that it's not affecting my children.
Oh.
And I said, why? Why would you pressurize a child to eat more than the child is supposed to eat? Because you want to tell the next person. So we have a predilection for fat babies. You want the child to have chunky thighs. So you feed and feed and feed. You want the child to be chubby. Some parents come to the hospital with their children who are healthy, and you tell them the children are not chubby. And I'll ask them, where is your own picture when you were a child?
You know, when you're discussing this, I think when you go back to your office, the hospital too, you should talk to those nurses, because I've seen nurses where we discuss, you know, when we go for antenatal, they will tell you, if you want your baby to be very chubby and looking very big, and so you see, they've labeled it, looking very chubby, give it this, give it that, even though they are mentioning healthy food. But the fact that they said chubby, big, that means that is the ideal thing. So now if you cannot give your baby those things they are mentioning, you would also want to go out for something that can also make your baby look big and chubby and fine like they described. So you see.
Oh, that's true. There are a lot of health workers, but we have objective ways of measuring weight. We measure height, we measure mid-upper arm circumference, we measure abdominal circumference. So when you come, no matter how you look, because looks can be deceptive. So even a child who looks chubby may not be by the time you take the measurements. And the child who looks bad, when you take the measurements and you compare with the chart, you realize that the child is normal. So I deal with the numbers. I check your child's weight and I put it on the chart. What's the weight supposed to be? I check the height. What's it supposed to be? I check everybody's not going to have the same weight, but we have a range acceptable for that age. We check your mid-upper arm circumference and then we compare it to the child. Then I tell you, your child is fine. And those parents always had to confuse. They'll be looking at you. So I'll have to show you, if you went to school out there, look at your child's height, see what they said they should be. Look at it, see what they say. Your child is fine, so go home and relax. Then, if it's less, then I say your child is not fine. We need to build this child up. And many times we need to tone the child down. Depending on what.
You know, I like the fact that you're saying this, but what are other ways we can, you know, educate parents and caregivers about the risk of obesity, apart from talking to them one-on-one the way you're doing?
Well, actually, it may get to the point where we start putting health warnings on food. Because for now, we're not doing that yet. Because like I said, most government policies are focused on undernutrition, which is a very big problem in our environment. So nobody is really thinking about how much sugar is in this or how much fat is in that. This thing that is for children, how much fat is in it. But we may have to get to that point where we start putting notice. The same way they say smokers are
liable to die young.
We can say too much of this. And some cereals have that too. I've looked at some infant cereals that say it shouldn't be given to a child more than twice a day. And I see parents give it 5-7 times a day, but it's written there clearly on the pack.
Because parents don't read.
Because they don't read.
They don't read.
So they wrote it there clearly. A child is not allowed to take this more than twice a day. It's their own way of contributing to reducing the problem of obesity. And the reason why the parents are giving it more than, because that's all they have. The child is not collecting any other food. So parents need to understand that, and we also need to understand that the risk factors of this issue with obesity, it's manifesting in children now. The consequences, you know, we say obesity is going to cause hypertension later, or it's going to cause diabetes later, but it's happening now. It's no longer waiting for the child to be 30, 40, 50. It's
in
happening
children.
with 14-year-olds. We have 12-year-olds who are diabetic. And it's not the other type of diabetes that is from parents. It's the second type of diabetes associated with lifestyle. It affects the bones, the way they grow. Some of them can't grow as tall as they should, or they start having joint pains, and it affects the children just like it affects the adults. It can lead to so many other issues: hypertension, raised cholesterol. Children are having raised cholesterol too. Yes, I've seen it. So the consequences are not sparing children. So our interventions should not ignore children either.
All right. So we are still discussing obesity in children. The overweight is too much. I see a whole lot of children being overweight. So I begin to ask, what is going on? And somebody told me that it's even cheaper to feed your children with this junk food these days than even the healthy ones. The healthy food are more expensive now. But is that even an excuse? When we think about the risk factor involved with a child being obese, it's better you spend that money to feed them right than waiting for the consequences of being obese. Well, let's take some few tweets to change the direction of our discussion if we see. We have this first tweet here from UNICEF. It says, since 2000, the proportion of overweight children has doubled globally as cheap calories from fatty and sugary food overwhelm communities. Why are healthy diets becoming more expensive? Why are healthy diets becoming more expensive? Why unhealthy diets are becoming cheaper? We need action, I tell you. Now, this one from Joma says, preventing childhood obesity limits screen time. Encourage children to engage in enjoyable physical activity on a daily basis. This can involve participating in sports, going for family walk or bike rides, or attending dance classes. And then this one from Dr. Martins says, we have a new epidemic of childhood diabetes, obesity, depression, and ADHD. Given the growing concern of doctors and parents about the potential role of petroleum-based food dyes, we should not be taking risk and do everything possible to safeguard the health of our children. All right, that last tweet here says, obesity in children is now a pandemic. It is now common to see children with bigger stomachs than their parents. It is common to meet a 7-year-old boy with the breast of a 16-year-old teenage girl. Oh my goodness. Feed your children healthy food, not products. That one touched me. This one touched me because a few days ago someone told me, a teacher somewhere said that a senior student asked a junior student to take off his clothes and dance just because this junior student or this, the junior student is on the big side, so he has a big breast, so just dance. So probably the dancing of the breast and everything is amusing the senior.
That's one of the risks.
That's another form of bullying.
That's one of the consequences of obesity. It predisposes the children to bullying and causes depression. Because we live in a culture where people actually make fun of obese people, big or small. People shout at children, "Fatty bum bum, biggie biggie," and we adults do it. You see a child and you're greeting the child biggie. I tell you. Why? Why are you doing that?
I tell you, adults are
fatty. How are you doing?
Guilty of this.
And the children are taking notes and feeling less important, feeling less of themselves. Their self-worth in their own eyes are reducing because they watch you greet other children, "Hi baby," and you tell them fatty. So that also is one of the consequences of obesity. It affects the self-esteem, and no matter how much body positivity we try to preach, the truth of the matter is that when you are big, everybody has something to say to you. And it's going to affect that child's self-image because they're not old enough yet to learn how to sieve information. So information gets to them quicker and the effects will be there.
Wow. All right, thank you, Mama.
Yeah, in what ways can parents help?
Okay, so in ways that parents can help, like, first of all, we must seek the information because parents cannot help if they don't know. So parents need to know. That's why anytime we're talking about prevention, one of the first things you talk about is general health promotion. You must let people know about this, which is part of what this show is about. Anyways, are telling people obesity is out there. It's an issue.
A problem.
Then the second thing the parents can do is to look inwards. In what ways am I contributing? And stop it. Most children are not responsible for feeding themselves. So the parents, instead of shouting at the child, you are too fat, lose weight, stop eating, you are in control. You can alter diet without that child even being aware that the diet is being altered. It's possible. All you need to do is just make some changes here and there. Give it a fun name, give it fun word. You don't exclude an obese child. So if you have an obese child, you don't say, hey, because you're fat, your doctor has said no more soda for you. If they've said no more soda for that child, then no more soda for the family. So that that child doesn't feel isolated. And that will cause a rebound. The child will hide and drink that soda and continue to add weight and be driving you crazy. So you, the parents, need to start acting like a parent and do some introspection and say, this is what I'm doing. Then, of course, talk of getting knowledge, the foods that are good, the foods that are bad, the foods that are middle ground. And those are the ones that you take more of, less of, and some once in a while. Children like treats, and when you make children feel so restricted, they may have a counterproductive effect. But when you have a healthy relationship with treats, so you know that, oh, this is bad food, I shouldn't have a lot of it. So I can have it once a week, I can have it once a month. That's one way of doing that. Then we should also not increase the value of food in the eyes of children. And this is usually done when you use food as reward. If you do it, I'll buy you sweet. If you do it, I'll buy you meat pie. That child thinks meat pie is such a big deal. And once he can have access to meat pie without you, he's going to have a lot of it.
Absolutely.
Then when you also punish with food, because you have done this, I'll take away your food. Let food just be there. You don't need to fixate on food. You don't need to fixate on food. So you don't need to restrict it too much. You don't need to use it as a reward. Let food just be something that you eat to get on with your day. Then you can also teach your children good and bad and the ugly. So that because what you want is not children that will be attached to you forever. What you want is children who can transit into adults who are also aware of healthy food and unhealthy food and the reasons why. So you can say, oh, we're going to have more vegetables. Eat your vegetables, they'll help you grow. Eat your this, they'll help you do that. Don't eat much of that. That's bad food. It's going to ruin your teeth. It's going to make you fat. So you can also educate in that aspect. Then another issue is this issue of screen time. Because our children are sitting in class all day and they come home and they sit and do their homework. And once they say, Mommy, we're done with your homework, you say you can put the TV. And they continue to sit to watch TV till it's 7 p.m. Then they eat their dinner, have their bath, and go to bed. Morning till night. No activity. And like I said, it's our best nanny. Someone like me now, I'm a professional. Most people who are working, we're working at home, and we have work that we're bringing home. So when you are coming home, you need rest. And anything you can do for that child to give you rest, most parents will do it. But I've had to start intentionally going out because children will always go where the parents are going. And children hate hypocrisy. So you cannot tell a child, go and play your ball, go and skip. And you are a couch potato. So everybody has to get active.
My goodness.
Everybody has to go out and play. Sometimes I play ball with my children.
Of course.
And I say I use it to add to my steps. As everybody is adding to their steps. It's a win-win.
Even dancing is another way of inculcating exercise.
Very active. And many children enjoy dancing. And if you open YouTube, for example, there are a lot of dance videos for children that the child will try to imitate and that keeps them active. So let's reduce screen time. WHO says no screen time till 1 year of age.
When you talk about the screen time, I feel guilty because sometimes when I come back and my daughter wants to talk plenty, she has plenty talks. I just skip. And then you will not hear her talking.
It's true. Because even you as an adult, you are addicted to your mobile phone. Talk less of a child.
I tell you,
talk less of a
she will
child.
not talk again, and then I will not have my quiet time.
That quiet time, you can't have it till they are 18.
Okay, but wait, let's talk about parents, because I know of parents who do all these things you've mentioned, but they still have this problem of obesity in the family.
They need to look into the food. There are foods that we take for granted. I can say, oh, I control what my children eat, but they eat bread every morning. Now, bread is processed flour, it's high calorie. And many children may eat 3-4 slices every day. So you will say, oh, so it may not be about quantity now. It may be about the nature of the food and the nature of the cooking. For example, who said children can't eat boiled plantains? Frying is a game changer already. Once you fry, you have introduced oil, and oil is high energy food. Now, it's a different thing if your child is a cheerleader, a basketball player. Then, of course, you can know that, oh, they're going to play.
Going to burn.
But you know that your child just goes and comes back. So you realize that something as simple as reducing the amount of fried items in your palate, in your menu, can make a huge difference in the weight of your children. Then you talk about the way we cook the food. Because you know in Nigerian food, a sign of well-cooked food is the oil on top of the afang and on top of the ifang pupo. So if it's not, you just say, what kind of food is this? It's looking pale.
I tell you, it's looking pale. There has to be oil around it.
It's making me laugh because I had this argument with my husband yesterday, and I made food because I'm also trying to, like I said, why I speak about these things freely is that it's something I have struggled with. So I know the things I'm doing. And slowly but steadily, we're making progress, which is another problem parents have when they set deadlines. Lose weight 1 month, the child is not lost, so you get frustrated. You say it's not working.
It's not working, and then you move on.
I said the child added that weight in a month. So you have to give that time. We are looking for consistency. And so I brought out the food, and he says, it looks bad. I said, taste it. Taste the food first before you can tell me if it's well made or not well made. And he says, it's okay. I said, yes, because there's no need for oil to be floating on top of your food.
I tell you. And then I've realized that you can even make your stew without the oil.
You can make your stew without the oil.
I tell you.
And nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen. It's so delicious.
Nice.
I tell you. But we're just used to oil.
So we're used to it.
We're just so used
to oil.
We're used
to so many things. So when people say, I've done all these things, they are saying, and I'm not seeing effects. Two problems are usually the issue: the content and then consistency.
Okay.
Because some people can run 2 hours Monday and Wednesday. The person that is running 30 minutes every day is better than the person that is running 2 hours on Monday and Wednesday. And our own mindset, our mindset likes reward.
Oh, wait. Could you take that again, please?
So someone says, I'm exercising. Every day. On Monday, they go out by 7 and they come back by 9. And because they ran from 7 till 9, they'll drink Coke and say, after all, I did exercise. They'll do this one, after all, I did exercise. Your mind will just be telling you, reward yourself. You have done a lot.
You are doing exercise for 2 hours.
And then, because of 2 hours exercise of Monday and Wednesday, your eating that whole week is upside down. And I'm saying that the person who does 30 minutes every day
is better
off. That person is consistent. So the same thing with eating.
Yeah, I've heard.
The same thing with eating. You don't need to starve yourself. Sometimes you say, I'll stop eating by 4 in the evening. Then by 11, you start roaming like a witch. Because you cannot sleep.
You cannot sleep.
Hunger. So, that is when that wicked hunger comes, I tell you. There's something about that time.
It's better that you put your small portion meals across the day. Another issue now that you've talked of midnight hunger is sleep. One of the things that is driving obesity is lack of sleep. Because if I ask you, have you slept up to 6 hours a day? You're not sleeping. And the children are not sleeping either. Sometimes it's homework, sometimes they are working on their computer. Teenagers will come home, especially some schools now say submit online. And the child is trying to submit homework till 9 p.m. Of course it's going to eat again. Of course, even if he ate dinner by 6 and have a teenager up till 10.
10.
Children go to sleep by 10 p.m. in the night.
10:30.
And they wake up by 5.
So they will eat that 6 o'clock, or they carry the one they will eat by 11 and by 2. So poor sleep is also
and
an issue.
I remember back in the days when we were growing up. In fact, I don't know, I shouldn't be saying the, but seriously, that's the truth. My mother used to have this small drug she gives us, this very small blue tablets. She gives us every afternoon. So in fact, I don't know if it was wickedness or she was doing us good, because we will sleep, and we will sleep as in we will sleep.
Advocate of giving drugs. But one thing I know is that
so
children,
no, what I'm trying to say is that this was inducing sleep.
But
Like
then
now
it
that
may
children do not sleep.
Children respond to routine.
Yeah.
So if you
we have
want
to
your
start
child
on
to sleep
time.
3 to 5, for example, then every 3 to 5 you have to say it's a sleep time. You will join them in that sleep. You can't tell them sleep, lock the door,
And you'll be watching TV downstairs.
And you are watching TV downstairs. So if you want, they model. So if you say, oh, you want us to start having nap time in this house, then we all nap.
Yeah, and it actually works when you do it with them.
You sleep with them today, tomorrow, next tomorrow. You do that for a week. Then their body system begins to reset. And at the point, you wouldn't need to do it with them anymore. For some people, nap time may not be feasible. So they are doing early sleeping instead.
Yeah.
So you come back from school, try and round up everything that's to be done. So at 6, 7, yeah, ending the day. And you're making the children go to sleep by then.
Yeah, I try to do that as much as possible.
It's also helpful, because if a child sleeps 8 p.m. till 6 a.m., that's
okay.
That's good enough, especially for the older children. That's quite okay. So you try to, but children respond to routine. So if you want a child to sleep, you have to make a routine out of it, and that routine must include you, and you must be consistent. One thing children can smell is hypocrite. A child can tell hypocrisy. Even we could tell hypocrisy. The thing is that we are very afraid of that long cane. So sometimes we will see, but we'll keep quiet.
But this Gen Z,
but these ones now, they will open their mouth
and they will tell you.
And definitely, they won't do what you're not doing.
I tell you.
They won't do what you're not doing. So you can't get them to do what you're not doing. So
all right, please. We have just few minutes to go, but let's talk about policy now. What policy or initiative can government, schools, community implement to promote healthy lifestyle and prevent obesity?
Thank you. For policy, like I said, we have to start with creating awareness. Then we have to start looking into what these children eat the most and verifying. NAFDAC is doing that, but there's a lot of room for improvement. This thing that children like to drink a lot, how much sugar is in it, how much starch is in it, how much food coloring is in it, to what number, to what quantity. Not what they are telling us, but using our eyes to verify in those factories, the ones that are being imported, how much. There was a time that there was this big scandal because a big food company, it was seen that the food that they are bringing to Nigeria was different from the one they're taking to Europe. The same food, but the made for Nigeria different, and the one in Nigeria had higher level of sugar than acceptable in the one in Europe. So that's where policy comes in. You have to verify, so that if you need to put warning, if you need to remove some from the market, you remove. If you need to put warning, you put a warning and say this food has a high content of sugar. A child shouldn't take this more than once a day. Then there's also the issue of school meals, because that was one way of curbing obesity. If we had meals available in the school, the way made properly, under specific, because a child, yes, that's what they do in some parts of the world. There's school lunch.
Yeah, even the school here, we have some schools with that.
And if a child doesn't accept to eat greens in the house,
they do.
They will
over there. I tell you,
when there are 30 children in a class eating the same food.
Absolutely, 100% correct.
They will eat vegetables. They will eat their fruits because their friends are eating it, and everybody's eating the same thing together. So that's another policy that may help curb obesity. Then, of course, if it gets so extreme, there's also the point of reprimanding parents and also penalizing parents. Because it can all still fall into child endangerment. If you are just leaving your child to eat anyhow, then we can hold the parents responsible and say, we need this child to start going down. We'll be checking on you monthly. And if you are not doing what we say, then you may have to take the fall for that. Thank you.
All right. Well said, Dr. Fokioma, you have
I just wanted to ask, is there only just one form of obesity, or do we have other types?
Okay, yes, we have the one we call central obesity. That's the more dangerous one. Then there's generalized obesity. So central obesity is when most of the fat is in the abdominal area, which is where we have the liver, the pancreas, and everything. and that one causes faster disease than general obesity. And obesity is also classified. You have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, depending on your weight and your height and the calculated body mass index.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ifunanya, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure having you on set.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
When I heard this topic, I said obesity. What happened? This nonsense. It was going to be quite interesting.
Oh my goodness. But I don't know if you have something to say, like in 1 minute. Let me just give you that to talk to parents.
In a minute, parents need to know that obesity is real. Obesity is here. Obesity is affecting the children the same way it's affecting the adults. And with the same consequences. And most importantly, obesity can be handled. So everybody needs to start putting in the work to get the results we need.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So as we conclude today's discussion on childhood obesity, it is clear that this is a complex issue requiring a multifaceted approach. We thank Dr. Ifunanya Ebiekpi for sharing her expertise and insight. To our audience, we hope this conversation has inspired you to take action, whether it is making healthy choices for your family or advocating for policies that support childhood wellness. Together, we can create a healthier future for our children. Until next time, from all of us in the studios, bye-bye, and thanks for watching.